Hey guys, this is Coach Carly, and you're watching Bull Time.
We are back for September 2024. This is USAPL Nats month session, I guess I should say. I'm going to talk a little bit about my feelings on USAPL Nationals. I've been going to USAPL Nationals for a decade now, and I think for the first time ever, I felt different going to Nationals. Nationals was great. The production's always good. The logistics are always good. All the volunteers and refs and the people who put it on do a great job. And the production is awesome. But it just felt different. It didn't feel the same as it has, right? We reach, I think, a peak of USAPL Raw Nats in 2019 in Lombard. And I say that because then the next year COVID happened. And then the next year was in Daytona. And then right after that, a lot of people didn't go because of the COVID stuff going on. And it was a weird session, and it was very much not the same production. It was not great. It was, and then all of a sudden you have the split. And then people are making choices. And then every year, 2022, 2023, and now 2024, you feel that choice between federations. And this isn't me announcing anything. This is just my feelings on it, and it's really discouraging for the sport of powerlifting to have that separation, especially drug-free powerlifting. It's already a niche thing, and then you losing that top 5%, you feel it. You don't see the same coaches, which also is a benefit, right? Like, you're seeing a lot of new emerging coaches that are moving their squads over to USAPL, which is great, right? You're seeing new faces and seeing them be as excited as I am, and even feel like the old guy going to these now. It's cool to see a lot of new faces and see a lot of new teams, and I just hate that, it feels like people have to make a choice, and it's just fucking stupid. And I hope there's a world one day where we can meld everything and we can have two big national meets in one world meet, where people can go to both Powerlifting America and USAPL Nationals and not feel guilty about it and do both of them. Because, it just didn't feel the same. And my lifters did great. I had a great time. This is not about anything more than just how I feel about that. I hate that there's a split, and I hate that there needed to be a split because there was a reason for it, and I get it. I just don't necessarily like feeling like we went somewhere and you're missing something. You're missing a part of what was there, and I know that there's great powerlifting teams and great powerlifting athletes and good coaches out there that are coaching athletes, and they're not there. And that's just tough to accept, because I feel like, sure, you win and it's cool and you're, setting all these records, but I want to be with everyone. That's the competitor. That's what drives me. I want to be with the best. I want to be with everyone that is the best, not just in one federation. I want everyone to be together, and I hope that world exists at some point, but it didn't exist this year, and that's okay. But we had two events this year. We had Runettes, and we had a Mayhem at the Mill out in Utica area. So we'll go through Nats first. First up, we had Maya. It was a tough day for Maya and I. I wish things have worked out in the last meet that she did as a 56. But just like I talked about Lindsay in last month, just like I'll talk about Maya, it just doesn't always work out the way that you envision it. And that can be super disheartening. That can be super discouraging. But I know that Maya and I have been in constant communication, and we talk about things, and that's what athlete-coach relationship is all about. And I will always have her back regardless if things go awry. And, we need to protect the person before we just say, hey, go through with this thing and do these things and try to win. And sometimes it's just not great. It's not the best time to do that. And you know what? That's okay. So it wasn't our best day, and we still salvaged as best as we could. And you know what? I'm okay with whatever we did. And even though that's the last meet as a 56/57, I'm glad that we were on this journey together. Next up, we had aerial. This is one of the high moments, right? Like we won. We did it. We set out this goal 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, when we started working together and saying that this will happen, and it did. And you put those words out there in existence. It's not cocky, it's not arrogant, it's just about who you are and what you want to do, and that's what she wanted to do. She wanted to win, and it took years, and you have to stay diligent to the goal, and she just fucking did that, and that's fucking awesome. Next up, we had Lynn. Lynn also won. First time we didn't cut for a national level meet, although we ended up weighing in just above her weight class, and weird how things work. So it was right around where she would have competed as a 48. I think we weighed in at 48.4, less than a pound away. And she did a great job. We had a weird, interesting prep with deadlifts, but squat was great. Bench, we made a bigger jump than maybe I would have in a competition, but we went there to try to chase numbers. And, sometimes it doesn't work out. But to still be within 2.5 kilos less and still go 3 for 9, I'll take that as a big win. 3 for 9 6 for 9, missing 3 lifts because she missed her first deadlift on almost falling over, but it wasn't because of strength. Then we had Miss Amanda Lacoste, our first meet with Amanda, and we went into nationals as our first meet together. 8 for 9, 2.5 kilo total PR. It was great. I've seen Amanda around national meets for a long time. Amanda has been in this almost just as long as I've been in it. And it's cool to see someone still grinding and still, making her way up to the top and still putting in the work and, wanted a change in direction of coaching. And she's responded really well. She's responded great to what we were doing. And I'm super, super excited and happy about how it went. And can't wait to keep building. We're going to try to do a meet here. So they changed the qualifying total, so now she doesn't need to do a meet to qualify, but we're still going to do the same meet she signed up for just to try to win some cash. So that sounds like a great idea to me. Next up, we had Miss Robin Shell. Robin's been on the team for a while now, and this was, I think, the first meet together where everything came together on the day of, and it was great. Sure, we didn't hit 80 kilos on the bench, but even in training, we kind of assumed that 80 kilos wouldn't be there, and that's okay. We still went for it. We still gave it a shot, and we were pretty damn close. So to feel like we had as close to a perfect day as we could have, I'm super excited and happy about that. We did 10 kilo total PR in 2 of 3 lifts, and that's fucking awesome. Next up, we had Miss Amanda Dahl. Man, this was tough. I feel like, we should have won. We should have won that day, and we didn't, and it's okay. I'm not upset by anything. If anything, I'm upset at myself. I felt like we made the right jump, even though she missed her second to go up a little bit. And if we didn't, we would have won. And, looking back on it, hindsight's 2020. But I felt like we made the right jump because the way that things were lining up with the women that she was competing with. And we just, got a little too far forward on the squat. We finally hit it to depth and, just didn't get it. But we set a world record on the bench. We hit a deadlift PR And if we hit our squat, then we hit a total PR. So it's hard to complain too much. But at the end of the day, I'm happy about what she brought as a product, because I know that she's way stronger than what her total was that day. Next up, we had Tammy, another weird one. Or last up, we had Tammy, another weird one. It was very interesting to me that, I've never had this happen before, where jury interfered with a good lift that was 2-to-1 good lift, and overturn it to a bad lift when it wasn't a depth call. And they went with beating the rack command. Now, again, video evidence is tough, and I understand that. They're subject to, anything could happen, even if you get 3 white lights. So it was just I feel like a very tough call to make in that moment, especially if you're not sitting in the chair and you're just kind of watching it, and especially if 2 judges agreed. So that was a tough one, especially that it took away, a world record for her. But we still ended up managing a total PR and a world record total PR. Still a great day, and she won. So again, still a great day. It's just frustrating, right? Like, something that was kind of stripped out of your control, and shit happens. But that concludes Nats. We had one more for September. We had Mayhem at the Mill. We had 3 of our athletes compete. We had a great fucking day at Mayhem at the Mill. It was super well ran. Jan does a great job. But first up, we had Jared, 9 for 9, 25 kilo total PR. I think we got that deadlift monkey off of our back. We were definitely, struggling, I think, with fatigue the last couple of meets that we've done going into deadlift, but we definitely managed a really good energy level going into it. Made the right calls on squat and bench, maximized what we had, and it was awesome. 9 for 9 day, 25 kilo total PR, hard to complain. Next up, we had Adrian, Miss Adrian Lockhart, 9 for 9 day, 12 kilo total PR. And because she set some records at her last meet, so the numbers didn't line up to be 2.5 kilo jumps. But absolutely smoked her bench, smoked her squat, and had definitely some room in the deadlift, and we went 9 for 9. That was the goal, and the fact that we still walked away with a 12 kilo total PR with room in the tank and going 9 for 9, it's really hard to not complain. I mean, Adrian and I talk a lot about, can you get stronger as you get older? And the answer is always yes, and it's finding when that point is. I think the moment that you stop, the moment that it's going to be really hard to get back into what you once were, and getting into that form, it's going to take even more work as you get older. And she's absolutely crushed it. So can't wait. We have some long-term sights on some Masters 3 World stuff, so I'm excited for that to happen. And then last up, we had Victoire. Victoire had a great day, and sometimes, I think this was our first time together that we didn't hit all of her squats, and to still be able to battle back and still reach a bench PR, a deadlift PR, and a 5 kilo total PR with missing, a 15 kilo jump on squats is awesome. I mean, when you become a certain level of lifter and you're as strong as you are, especially as Victoire is, you get real picky and you get real angry when everything doesn't go perfectly right, because you're talking about, you're in the upper echelon of lifters, right? We have 4 super heavyweights that are in the upper echelon of lifters in the open class, and you're comparing yourself to different types of apples. Like, you're a Macintosh looking at a big Delicious, Red Delicious, and you're like, well, why do they have this? And it's hard to always see what's in front of you, and it's hard to always appreciate how far that you've come, especially in years' time, in 6 month time, year time, 2 year time. And I say all of this because we're talking about a total that is big. Not many women ever in any drug tested or non-drug tested powerlifting or reaching, so encapsulate, in reaching that point is a lot of pressure, and to put yourself into that position and feel like you need to make every lift every single time that you go out there. Sometimes things happen and you have a little bit of a misgroove, you shift your weight, and it's not, to have that resiliency to come back and knowing how much pressure she's putting on herself to still come back and do that is awesome. So that concludes September, and I'm not going to sit here in front with you. I'm going to get to October probably in December. So I'm not even going to I'm just going to say that. So I'll see you in December.